Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. You have just tuned in, as if you already didn't know, the Sons to Fathers Nugget. Now, I'm going to jump right into this, man, because I got a lot I need to get off and to you today. All right? So I'm going to jump right into it. Last week we talked about, if you tuned in, we talked about the challenges of raising a girl or a daughter. Today I want to talk about how raising a boy can be challenging in a whole lot of ways. All right, so let's just jump right into it. Now, most days, nowadays, you'll find us, because of our kids' athletic schedule and our after-school activities, that you can find us at a lot of different restaurants, fast food restaurants or family atmospheric restaurants where, we just stop in, sit down, have a bite to eat, and be able to communicate a little bit and have some time to ourselves. But something we started doing a whole lot more lately is having Sunday dinners, just family time. Our oldest daughter has moved out, so she comes over for family time, and we sit down, we just have a good old time. We laugh, we talk, we inspire each other, we speak life over each other, and then we pray. And then we go from there. But recently we've noticed that, there's been some things popping up with our son that, I think it warrants a show all by itself, acknowledging the challenges of raising a boy. Now, fathers, you know how it was when you were growing up, so you know some of the challenges. But today's show, I just want to point out some of those challenges, because some of us still have boys that are not quite teens yet, and we have some that are teens. Had some more water. And we also have some sons out there that are growing into an adult age. And fathers, let me tell you this, it is never too late to start pouring positive things into your sons or your daughters. Okay? So that's what we're going to talk about today. Some of the challenges that come with raising a son. Now, we all know that raising a boy is a little difficult at times. While each kid, each son, if you have multiple, you have to realize that each one is unique and different in their own way. There are consistent themes, though, that make fathering sons very demanding. Now, here are 5 challenges, like I said before, to raising boys. But I want you to keep in mind that these are general observations, and realize that not all boys possess any or all of these traits, and they should know there's nothing wrong with it. Okay, so keep that in mind. Now, these are just general observations that I came up with from dealing with my own son and seeing how other fathers that I'm directly connected with handle their sons. So let's go with the first one right here, right now. Number 1, the need for physical activity. Okay. Now, I would love this 10, I would have loved this 10 or 15 years ago, but I'm 47 right now. But as I get older, this has become more and more exhausting and painful physically for me. As tiring as it is to wrestle and pretend battle and play sports and jump on a trampoline or even go climbing and hiking and so on, it's important to remember how critical it is in our relationships with our sons. Now, they don't want to just do it. They want to do it with us, their dads. Now, even more muscle and achy joints given up to connect with our sons create a path to their hearts. So sometimes that sacrifice to do these things and then have an ice bath later or ask your wife to rub you down with some Bengay or some muscle rub or something, or take a hot shower. Those sacrifices are necessary because boys growing up, they want to be able to do those things to create the memories with their father or with their guardian or with their stepfather or with their male figure that they have in their life that they consider as a father. Even if they don't hear you say it, they still consider that a father figure. Now, number two, letting them be wild. Okay, at this point in my life, now get this straight. Now, I just want to say this. I want to put this out there. At this point in my life, I like order, a level of predictability. But boys need to be wild. They like to be unpredictable. They like to just nonchalantly go and get stuff. You remember how it was when you were a kid, when you were younger. You had the energy of a lion and the speed of a cheetah and the strength of a gorilla. and the zest and the zeal got you in a lot of trouble. So you remember those things. And being wild is messy and it involves a certain level of risk. Boys, teenage boys especially, they crave adventure, and no one is better at giving it to them than their dad. Now, we need to encourage it by doing activities with perceived danger: rock climbing, zip lining, roller coasters, rope courses, hiking, mountain biking, etc. Those type of things, okay? Fishing, hunting, camping, those things. It's a step in the right direction, doing those things, creating those memories, having those particular adventures with your son, okay? Now, however, it also means that allowing them to enter into a level of real danger without our supervision, okay, is very necessary as well. I want you to keep that in mind. That's very important, with our supervision. Now, here we go with this. Not life-threatening risks, mind you, but some level of danger, some level of excitement where that adrenaline can get pumping. That's a memory that's going to be created, okay? We need to let them venture out, and even while living with the anxiety it gives or the adrenaline pump that it gives, that's a dilemma. How much can we handle, and how far do we let them go before pulling back the reins? Even dad needs to figure out where to set the boundaries. For me, I calculate the worst possible injury in an activity. If it is broken bones or less, it gets a green light. You got to let them be able to do that. Get out and be wild. It's necessary. Now, number three, the drive to succeed. And I'll go back over these at the end. Most boys, get this now, most boys desire to accomplish some kind of quest or challenge. They want to do something brave and live out the story of a hero. You remember how your hero was? Like when I was coming up, my hero was Voltron or He-Man or Thundar the Barbarian. And I know I'm dating some of y'all. One of my heroes was Popeye the sailor. How he used to beat up Brutus, the bad guy, all the time by eating the spinach. Those things, those heroes, Superman, Batman. He wants to be able to live out those heroes and just role play. And I believe that's for the younger boys that's growing up that hasn't quite yet became a teenager or that's in the preteen stage. Okay. Now, having this drive is good, but what comes with it is an identity based on success or failure. We should help them learn and hone their talents. Then we should encourage and give insight into their life's purpose. However, we need to make certain they know that their value is not found in the accomplishments. I'm going to say that again. When we do this, okay, to push this drive to succeed, we should encourage and give insight into their life's purpose. However, we need to make certain they know that their value is not in their accomplishments, but their value is in so much more. Their value is what God thinks of them. Their value is how God sees them. Their value is how they chase after God. That's where their value is found. And their value shouldn't be determined by any female, any job, the amount of success, any accomplishment. Their value should not be determined by that. Now, here's the last two that I think are very, very important. So I need you to pay very, very close attention. The hyper-sexualized culture. That's a very, very important one, because this culture nowadays focuses so much on sexual things and skin and just bearing it all. What happened to modesty, people? Come on. Now, our kids are growing up in a time where they learn from images and words and things from celebrities and music icons, sports figures. Those type of things are what our kids are being influenced on today. Now, back in the day when we were younger, those that are 40 and over, we had role models that we looked at. We didn't look at sports figures so much. We didn't look at musical entertainers so much, or actors, or those type of celebrity people to dictate who we were or to find our value in that. We looked at our fathers, our grandfathers, our uncles, ministers at our church, people that we surrounded ourselves constantly with, or that our parents had us around constantly with. That's who we dictated to ourselves how we wanted to be. You know what I mean? So, with that said, unfortunately, young girls have learned, boys and girls, they have learned that this is what they need to do for attention. So they throw pictures of themselves on social media, posing provocatively and skimpy clothing. You know, this culture has been so sexualized. It's really sad. And you know what? It is difficult for them to have a healthy view of women. I'm talking about our sons now. It's difficult for them to have a healthy view of women when every image communicates women are having sex, or women are there for sexual pleasure, and that's it. Fathers, it's up to us to crush that stereotype and help our sons understand that women are worth so much more than what this culture, which this society is putting it out to be. I see young girls nowadays losing their self-esteem because they're trying to compete with what they see on TV. They're trying to live up to the hype. They're trying to live up to those standards that are blasted to them every day over social media, over the internet, over television, over the radio, with entertainers, celebrities, those type of things. So we need to help them understand that that's not where their value is. For men and for boys and girls, we need this, okay? Now, making an emotional connection. This is our last one. Making an emotional connection. Now, boys tend to have a hard time getting in touch with what is going on below the surface. Like I just told you, was it yesterday or the day before in the podcast, that, we sat our son down and we told him that it's okay to cry. It's okay to have those emotions and release them, okay? Because it gives us a sense of freedom. And when we as fathers understand that, and we get that, and we take hold of that principle, it makes it easier for us to communicate that to our sons. You understand what I'm saying? It doesn't help when we as men, having an emotional response is viewed as weakness because of what we were told when we were coming up. Having an emotional response, crying, getting emotional or something like that, crying when we're happy, crying when we're sad, it's nothing wrong with that. It's not a sign of weakness. If anything, men, it's a sign of strength. You understand? Now, the worst thing you can say when referring to a boy is that he is weak. That's tearing him down. That's destroying his identity. That's destroying who he is and who he's trying to be. Hello. So most boys bury their emotions deep. Some so deep they become disconnected, and it becomes more difficult to build a bond and nurture his growth. Okay? Now, our sons need to learn to control their emotions, but they also need to be in touch with them. That's a must. They need to know that there is nothing weak